legislature is plagued by such a high level of partisanship that it prevents them from finding workable solutions on common ground. The electorate is unhappy with the status quo and has come together in tea parties. This will be a very difficult environment in which to accomplish anything. Assuming you are elected and you will run for a second term, what should we hold you accountable for in the next election? Lawrence Winkie.
I've identified 3 reasons why the environment in Lansing is very partisan. First, difficult economic times do not hurt all people equally. And since the legislature and the governor are passing out fewer tax dollars, there is a serious battle among special interest groups as to who will get those dollars. Second, taxes are not paid by all people equally, with most Michigan citizens paying very little and a minority paying the majority of bills for government. For example, pension income is exempt from state income taxation to about $45,000 per individual, while income from labor is taxed from $1. Third, the people of Michigan have become more partisan, and the legislature reflects the partisanship of the citizens. Hold me accountable if, in 4 years, the vast majority of my votes are simply party line votes, and I never vote against my party. Most of you know I have not, and I will not, ever just vote the party line. Second, if I don't get bipartisan votes on my legislation that was good for the general population and not just special interests, please hold me accountable. Also, hold me accountable if I didn't introduce legislation that will solve Michigan's problems, and I just waited for others to balance the budget and propose solutions to problems. I was elected chairman of the Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners when Democrats were a majority. That almost never happens in politics, which is on the record by evidence from my ability to work with Democrats and independents. Thank you.
Harry DeShazer.
I have spent my career objectively challenging the status quo. I have done things as a first-term legislator that wasn't supposed to be done. I have passed bills. I am at the leadership table at the insistence of my colleagues. The Democrats consider me to be a straight shooter. I have voted against my party. I have voted my conscience. I have voted my district. I have tackled the toughest issues that need to be tackled that are eminent and clear and present. One is the budget. I'm the one who called for, before the business leaders of Michigan, I was the one who called for a 2-year budget because it's unfair to keep municipalities and schools waiting in the wings as far as negotiation and them trying to resolve their budgets. I was the one that called for a May 15th deadline for the budget. I was the one that introduced legislation that said if we don't come up with a signed budget by May 15th, the governor, lieutenant governor, all state elected officials, and I even included department heads, we would forfeit our pay daily until we had a signed budget without any refunds. I was the guy who got 44 freshmen to come up with a letter to the governor and put leadership's name on that letter with the chance of being retaliated against to demand that we settle the budget. The governor signed off on a budget 2 days later. I'm also at that leadership table. People saying the class of 44 is the best thing that has happened in Lansing in the last couple of years. So I have spent my life, as well as running the Board of City Council, in knowing how to manage conflict, to present myself in a professional way, to validate people's concerns, and to not play politics. And I challenge you to continue to hold me accountable in that light in the next 4 years.
Robert Jones.
Yes, a lot of people are saying that Lansing is broke and that somehow they can go there to fix it. One of the problems that with Lansing now is the effect of term limits. And sending inexperienced people to Lansing only adds to the problem. The present situation now is that we have full-time lobbyists, we have full-time bureaucrats, we also have full-time people working in administration. The only people there that go in common, really, are the members of the legislature. In order to move Lansing forward, we need to look serious down the road at whether or not we can extend term limits. The other thing that is with Lansing is the fact that we are in a situation where we have streaking revenues. And as long as we are competing very hard for tight resources, and we do not have the money to take care of our programs, then the decisions that we have to make get tougher and tougher because there's not enough money to meet the needs. And that is why it takes so long to get the budget done. In the past, when there was money, the budget was done real early. I believe, however, that in spite of the fact that we have competing resources, we will move the budget forward this year. And we will do the best we can at presenting a budget that, even though it has a lot of cuts, come as close as possibly can. But one of the things about Lansing is not just Lansing. We must also, here in Kalamazoo, as legislators, do things for this community while we're in Lansing to make sure that we bring back to Kalamazoo the things we need for economic growth and development.
Tanya Schubert.
Thank you. In both my professional and my personal life, I think the character traits that I hope I emulate is honesty, integrity, and hopefully consistency. And I promise you that I will be consistent on bringing jobs to this state. I think that if you give a person a job, it's the best social program that you can give them. I think I was brought up on a farm, learned the value of hard work, and I think that job creation has to be priority number one. And I promise you this, that I will work and be consistent in working across the aisle with my good friend Bob Jones or any other person across the aisle on those issues of bringing jobs to our great state. Thank you.
Mark Todd.
Well, I think we always need smart leaders with new ideas. But let's be clear about what the problem is in Lansing. Lansing is not broken because of a lack of ideas. Lansing is broken because of a failure of will. A failure to do what is right and instead an opting to do what is safe and what is easy. There's two models of politics out there. One model says, right, that politics is all about figuring out what interests you represent, and then when our legislators go up to Lansing, it's just kind of this clash of interests. And when the dust settles, that's our policy. But there's another notion about what government is about. It says that the purpose of government is to serve the common good, not political ambition, not partisan ends, not special interests. And I think we've really lost sight of that view of government in Michigan. And we urgently need leaders who believe that government should be about serving the common good. I want you to keep me accountable for that in 4 years, to be that kind of leader. You know, I've not been in politics before, but frankly, I don't know if the answer right now is to send somebody up there who's been part of the system. We've been talking a lot in my campaign about the need for a new generation of leadership. We need leaders with conviction, who are willing to do what's right, not just what's easy. We need leaders with vision, who have a sense of where Michigan's been and where Michigan can go. And we need leaders who are, at the end of the day, committed to results, who know when it's time to stop arguing and reach a compromise to find the workable solutions that are going to be necessary to move this state forward.
All right, we'll move on to questions from the audience now.